Yo, welcome everyone. A lot of people are now looking at this inverse head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin, but to be honest, it looks like a trap. Let me show you. First, you're going to see that our prediction from yesterday is right now playing out almost exactly. We talked about the bearish CVD divergence or bearish absorption Bitcoin was getting literally throughout the entire day yesterday. Lower highs were being formed on Bitcoin, while the CVD indicator, the yellow line, was getting a brand new higher high. What does that mean? A lot of people were buying Bitcoin exactly at this specific area, but of course, they were not able to push the price higher. Lower high on Bitcoin, higher high on the CVD, bearish divergence, bearish absorption right here, bearish Bitcoin indication. And that is why we got another very slight push towards the downside, forming another lower low. And remember, we were talking about this exact area also in our yesterday's video. We said definitely Bitcoin does have another liquidity level right here, $86,500, and also measuring the entire bottom price action right here with volume, value area low, the bottom volume level on Bitcoin, I'm not even joking, it was hit literally to the exact dollar accuracy. This is right now why, for the past few hours, we are getting a very slight bounce back towards the upside. My trades are performing quite okay. The short trade on Bitcoin is right now being approximately 30% in a profit. The long trade on Bitcoin approximately 4.7% in a profit, but unfortunately, the long trade on XRP and also on Solana are right now being in a very slight loss. So definitely we are going to see if Bitcoin is going to be able to get another very slight push towards the upside, maybe even in the next couple of hours, simply because pay right now attention to the CVD indicator once again. Yesterday, we were getting some bearish absorption. Right now, a completely opposite thing is actually happening. Lower low on our CVD indicator, but on Bitcoin, we are forming another higher low. This right here simply means people are shorting Bitcoin. How do I know that? Also pay attention to our open interest indicator right here. It is getting a push toward the upside. So what does it mean? Selling pressure is coming in the market. That is exactly what the CVD indicator right here is showing to us. Open interest is getting a push towards the upside, which is telling to us brand new money is coming in the market. And also Bitcoin is getting a higher low. So logically thinking, if people are actually shorting Bitcoin, of course, technically, we should be forming another lower low right here, but it does look like someone is clearly absorbing all of the selling pressure coming in the market right here, which is going to be bullish divergence, bullish absorption, and of course also a bullish Bitcoin indication. That is right now why ideally I am looking for another some kind of a push towards the upside in the next couple of hours. And yes, later in the video I'm going to share with you an important level, the anchored VWAP, that it is going to be our first very important area of resistance. Right now, let's actually go with the Bitcoin liquidation heat map right here on the 2-week time frame, because this chart right here is also being more bullish than bearish. We do have our biggest liquidations not below our recent lows, but actually exactly above the highs. At approximately 91,000 US dollar area, over 300 million of short trades are going to get wrecked, are going to get liquidated. And that is why this specific level is right now a magnet for Bitcoin and definitely a bullish Bitcoin indication. Now, what if we are zooming in a little bit, let's just say on the 1-week time frame? Unfortunately, yes, it is going to be more of a bearish indication for Bitcoin, simply because it shows us that we do have bigger liquidations below our recent lows at approximately 86,300 US dollars. However, what you're going to see, our liquidations below the lows right here are definitely much less, approximately 145 million versus 300 million exactly above the recent high right here. So I would definitely say, looking right now at our Bitcoin liquidation heat map, it is right now still being slightly more bullish versus slightly more bearish. That is right now also why I would really appreciate for you to smash up the like button, because 1,000 likes are really possible. And of course also thank you for subscribing to the channel. Now let's talk about our inverse head and shoulders pattern, something a lot of people are right now paying attention to. So we are simply going on the 4-hourly time frame, going right now with this major push down being our left shoulder, the bigger push down or also the liquidity grab or the swing failure pattern being our head, and also the push down that has been right now happening for the past few days right here, it is going to be our right shoulder. A lot of people are right now looking at this and definitely are going to think to themselves, Okay, if we get right now another push towards the upside, towards our neckline, towards the 90,500 US dollar area right here, I'm potentially going to fire a breakout trade going with another long trade. But I would say like that, at the area of approximately 91,000 US dollars. First of all, we right now know, okay, bigger liquidations on the 2-week time frame are going to be exactly above the recent highs, which it is going to be locally a bullish indication why we can be expecting a push up. However, because it's going to be a major liquidations cluster, it could potentially mean we are going to get a rejection exactly at this specific area. So now logically thinking, if people are going to get liquidated exactly at our neckline of the inverse head and shoulders pattern, potentially of course after everyone is racked, we might also trap a lot of people exactly at some kind of a promised breakout and only then do get a bigger push back towards the downside. Also right here, remember from our yesterday's video, we have been talking about our major trendline area of resistance from our all-time high for a very long time. People paying attention to the inverse head and shoulders pattern, they are going to go with the breakout out of the pattern, of course, but also some other people might be looking for the breakout trade out of this major trendline area of resistance. But again, resistance is resistance until proven otherwise. And this specific area is a major area of resistance with our golden Fibonacci ratio, with our major liquidations class right here, and also usually what we say, the best trades are going to be at the areas of support and not really at the areas of resistances. All of my long trades that personally I have taken on Bitcoin, on XRP, and also on Solana were at the area of support. The short trade is the one that you should, technically speaking, be more interested in at the area of resistance. And that is why if we do get right now a push towards the upside, no way I'm going to look to fire a brand new long trade on some kind of the promised breakout out of our inverse head and shoulders pattern. So that is why right now, let's simplify everything. What can potentially happen next with Bitcoin? Literally in the next few hours. We are not going to talk about any patterns, we are not going to talk about any trend lines. Let's simply zoom in, let's just say on the 2-hour time frame, to identify some kind of a horizontal range. We can right now connect our previous highs, expand this one towards the downside, and we can right now simply say, for the past few days, Bitcoin has been moving in some kind of a horizontal range, getting a rotation from the bottom back towards the top of the range, and of course, right now potentially, we might be looking for another rotation back towards the bottom of the range. But of course, because right now we are getting this bullish absorption right here, because bigger liquidations are higher, ideally, first of all, I am looking for at least some kind of a push towards the upside, towards our first local area of resistance. Our bullish divergence on the CVD indicator, it is right now telling to us that another higher high on Bitcoin is right now slightly more likely, and actually slightly above our higher high, we do have another very important price target. Because what if we right now actually go with our anchored VWAP and anchor it exactly at this specific high? You're right now going to see bullish absorption that is right now happening on Bitcoin. Potentially right now means Bitcoin is going to get a push up directly towards our anchored VWAP, and this specific anchored VWAP is really not a random level. Why so? Because almost exactly right here, Bitcoin does have two very important lower highs. The first one is going to be right here, 88,000 US dollar area, and the second one just slightly higher at approximately 88,300 US dollars. So to be honest, in my opinion, in the next few hours, we can definitely be expecting another push towards the upside for Bitcoin to then take some liquidity above our recent highs, hit our anchored VWAP, and only then potentially do get another push back towards downside, towards our lower area of support. And of course, if you want to trade with us, take advantage of the free 30,000 US dollar bonus with the first link down below right here, because only after you register on Bybit Exchange, you're going to get 20 USDT completely for free. Then also, if you're going to use my link, you're going to get another 20 USDT after your initial deposit, and also then after you're going to open up your first trade, you're going to get even bigger bonuses. So definitely take advantage of the free bonuses using the first link down below after you register and after initial deposit. Right now, let me also share with you another bullish indication of Bitcoin that is right now forming on the Adler stochastic CG oscillator. Because on the 1 hourly time frame for the past few hours, we have been also getting a brand new double bottom pattern, and those double bottom patterns are really a beautiful bullish indication of Bitcoin. Double bottom pattern right here, yes, first we got a liquidity grab and only then a push towards the upside. Double bottom pattern right here, we got a push towards the upside. Double bottom pattern right here, we also got some kind of a push towards the upside on the Bitcoin price itself. So what is happening right now Bitcoin on the Atlas, and also of course in a combination with our CVD indicator, it is definitely locally speaking a bullish Bitcoin indication, and that is why again first target I'm paying attention to is going to be the area of approximately 88,000 US dollars. Then of course if we are going to go higher, the next level I'm right now still paying attention to is going to be our bigger trendline area of resistance at approximately 89,000 US dollars, because also right here it is going to be another major golden Fibonacci ratio. From our high back towards the low, you're right now going to see if Bitcoin starts breaking our anchored VWAP and our liquidity levels, another important resistance level on Bitcoin is going to come in exactly at 89,000, where we do have our golden pocket, where we have our trend line, and of course also where we do have our previous high for liquidity purposes. So definitely, yes, I'm looking right now for another push toward the upside, a very small one, and then we are going to see if Bitcoin is able to finally go higher above our major area of resistance or not. But the most important thing that I want to mention right here, overall speaking, Bitcoin is unfortunately still moving in a downtrend. When you right to go with our exponential moving averages, definitely on the 1 hourly we are in a downtrend, on the 2 hourly we are in a downtrend, on the 4 hourly we are in a downtrend. So looking for some kind of a short position potentially at this specific area of resistance, if of course you are not already in a short position from much higher, in my opinion it is going to be a smart thing. But of course if you are going to apply proper risk management, definitely protecting your capital with the stop loss placement slightly above our major trendline area of resistance, if you're going to look for a short trade approximately at the areas of resistances we just talked about. The first support level, the first area you should definitely be aware of if Bitcoin right now does get a push down, it is definitely going to be our high term time frame area of support. That is going to be our daily level at 85,400 US dollars, because it is literally perfectly aligning also with the value area low, with the bottom volume level of our entire bottom price action right here. So the plan on Bitcoin is right now very, very simple. Let me right now share with you almost exactly what I'm right now expecting to happen, maybe even in the next few hours. Because of the bullish absorption right here, because of the double bottom pattern on the Atlas stochastic CG oscillator, ideally I am looking for at least some kind of a push towards the upside first of all. Then of course we are going to see if our resistances are going to be broken back up. If so, we are looking for a bigger push towards the upside right here. However, we are in a downtrend, so potentially we are going to be expecting a rejection back down, and the first target you should be paying attention to, it is definitely going to be our daily and the value area low. Breaking such an important support level towards the downside is a major red flag on Bitcoin, and only in this scenario we might be looking for much lower targets. But of course, definitely if you're potentially going to look for a short trade right here, first take profit at this specific support level, in my opinion, is definitely going to be a smart thing. That is right on why if you want to trade with us, simply take an advantage of the free bonus using the first link down below, because only after you're going to register you get 20 USDT completely for free. Then make sure you deposit, because you're also going to get another 20 USDT. But of course also thank you for smashing up the like button.